India, a land steeped in ancient richness, where the echoes of history resonate through its diverse landscapes. From the opulence of the Mughal Empire to the grandeur of the Vijayanagar kingdom, India was once hailed as the world's richest country. But today, we unravel a story obscured by the sands of time, the unmaking of India. Welcome to Knowledge Shanduk. Today, we delve into the impact of British colonialism, the force that sought to extract wealth from this subcontinent, leaving an indelible mark on its history. Historical context. India, a cradle of ancient civilizations, flourished for centuries as a hub of trade, science, and culture. Renowned for its spices, textiles, and intricate craftsmanship, India's wealth attracted traders and adventurers from across the globe. The Mughal Empire, in particular, presided over an era of opulence, with grand monuments like the Taj Mahal standing as testaments to the country's affluence. The turning point arrived with the advent of the British East India Company in the early 17th century. Initially arriving on Indian shores as traders, the company swiftly transformed into a political and military force. Leveraging economic advantages and forging alliances with local rulers, the British East India Company maneuvered its way into positions of power, laying the groundwork for British colonial dominance. What began as a commercial enterprise gradually evolved into full-fledged colonization. The East India Company's strategic acquisitions, coupled with the British Crown's growing influence, led to a transition from mere trade to the establishment of territorial control. This marked the initiation of a dark chapter, where economic interests intertwined with imperial ambitions, setting the stage for the systematic exploitation that would follow. The transition was not just a shift in economic practices but a seismic change that would reshape the destiny of a once thriving nation. Economic exploitation. The British implemented a series of economic policies aimed at extracting wealth from India, leaving an indelible mark on the nation's economic landscape. Through heavy taxation, exploitative trade practices, and a systematic siphoning of resources, the British orchestrated what historians later termed the drain of wealth. The revenue generated from India was disproportionately channeled back to Britain, severely undermining India's economic capacity to invest in its own development. This economic drain had far-reaching consequences, perpetuating poverty and hindering India's potential for growth. As the British sought to bolster their own industrial revolution, traditional Indian industries faced deliberate neglect and destruction. The imposition of British manufactured goods, combined with punitive tariffs on Indian products, crippled indigenous industries that had thrived for centuries. Handloom textiles, metalwork, and other artisanal crafts suffered severe blows, leading to a catastrophic impact on employment and local economies. The once vibrant weaving villages and skilled craftsmen found themselves marginalized, contributing to a shift from self-sufficiency to dependency on British imports, further deepening India's economic woes. The scars of this destruction echoed through generations, reshaping the socio-economic fabric of the subcontinent. Social impact. The British employed a calculated strategy of divide and rule to maintain control over the vast and diverse population of India. By exploiting existing religious, linguistic, and regional differences, the British fueled tensions among communities. Policies such as separate electorates and administrative divisions based on identity categories were designed to create divisions and foster internal strife. This divisive approach not only weakened the fabric of social cohesion but also sowed seeds of mistrust that lingered long after the end of British rule. The scars of these policies are visible in modern India's complex socio-political landscape. British cultural influence seeped into the very fabric of Indian society, resulting in the erosion of traditional practices and values. The imposition of Western education, legal systems, and governance structures aimed to create a cultural shift that aligned with British ideals. Local languages and educational systems were marginalized, contributing to a loss of cultural identity. The transformation wasn't merely external. It penetrated the core of Indian culture, impacting everything from traditional art forms to family structures. The repercussions of this cultural erosion continue to be felt today, as India grapples with the challenge of preserving its rich heritage in the face of historical cultural suppression. Agricultural impact. Under British rule, there was a radical transformation in the traditional system of landownership. The British implemented policies that favored large landowners, often at the expense of small and subsistence farmers. The introduction of the Permanent Settlement Act in 1793 and the subsequent zamindari and ryotwari systems altered the landscape of landownership. This shift marginalized small-scale farmers, leading to widespread dispossession and concentration of land in the hands of a privileged few. The consequences were profound, as generations of farmers found themselves disenfranchised and dispossessed. The British colonial administration's policies exacerbated the frequency and severity of famines in India. The emphasis on cash crops for export, coupled with high taxation and inequitable land distribution, left farmers vulnerable to crop failures and economic hardship. The infamous Bengal famine of 1943, exacerbated by British policies and neglect, stands as a stark example. Agrarian distress not only led to widespread poverty but also triggered mass migrations, disrupting rural communities and perpetuating a cycle of economic instability. The scars of these famines still linger in the collective memory of Indian agriculture, underscoring the lasting impact of British policies on the nation's rural landscape. Legacy and modern implications. India's journey towards independence in 1947 marked the end of formal British colonial rule, but the economic challenges persisted. The legacy of exploitation left the newly independent nation grappling with economic disparities, inadequate infrastructure, and a skewed wealth distribution. Post-independence leaders faced the daunting task of rebuilding an economy deeply scarred by centuries of British exploitation. The economic challenges of the post-independence era can be traced back to the systematic drain of wealth and the destruction of indigenous industries during the colonial period, casting a long shadow over India's economic trajectory. To comprehend the complex tapestry of modern India, one must delve into its colonial past. The historical imprint of British rule continues to shape contemporary economic and social issues. From landownership patterns to the persistence of social divisions, the echoes of the past resonate in present-day challenges. Analyzing how past events have contributed to current economic disparities and social issues provides crucial insights into the root causes of contemporary problems. By connecting historical context to present challenges, we gain a nuanced understanding of the enduring impact of British colonialism on the socio-economic fabric of India. Only by acknowledging and understanding this historical legacy can we navigate the path toward a more equitable and just society. In retracing the tumultuous journey through India's history under British colonial rule, we've unearthed the profound impact that shaped the nation we see today. From the wealth-draining economic policies to the deliberate destruction of indigenous industries, and the divisive strategies that sowed seeds of discord among communities, the scars of British colonialism run deep. The transformation of landownership and the distressing famines further underscore the lasting repercussions on India's agricultural landscape. As we stand at the crossroads of history and modernity, it becomes evident that the echoes of the past continue to reverberate in the economic challenges and social issues facing the nation. The legacy of British colonialism, while a chapter in history, it is only through this acknowledgement that we can collectively work towards a more equitable and just future. So, as we close this chapter, let us reflect on the lessons of history and, more importantly, consider how we can contribute to shaping a fairer and more inclusive world. Thanks for watching this video on Knowledge Shanduk, and until next time, stay safe and keep exploring.